I'm sorry, as long as this thing called TRP is there, you can never judge anything. Impossible. And you know what's happening in TRP. I suffered 13 years. I lost my sleeps on Thursday evenings. Because, you know, you had TRP announced on Thursdays, but impossible. TRP, popularity and quality, they don't go together in television. There are three different parts. There are wonderful programs which we had to cut down. For example, Girish Karsarvalli's Grihabanga. I had to stop it because there was no TRP. Now, how do you... it's impossible. You know, what you can do in television today to understand is like, I don't know, there are no answers for that. Yeah, that's old one, yeah. Perhaps we should go back to that era, you know. It's impossible to find anything good, expect anything good to come across television these days. It's not possible, I don't think.
One second, I'm somebody at the back and then we'll come to you.
My question is to Barna sir. Barna sir, acting is purely a creativity. It comes by practice, by situations, by unexpected happenings. So how can we prepare a syllabus? And is there any formula to prepare a syllabus for this acting institution and all?
Certainly. Why not?
And on what basis, sir?
No, anything. Because even in Bharatanatyam Shastra, he gives a total detailing of what exactly has to be acting. So invariably, the process have been went on, and a lot of syllabus, lot of water has been flown in that. Because, for example, Stanislavski theory, Grotowski theory, a lot of theories have come out. So we have to pick up something out of that. And there is a practical problem which we will face whenever there are students. According to them also we have to change the syllabus. So especially for acting, we can create, because already National School of Drama has got a syllabus, and Ninasam has got a syllabus, Abhinaya Taranga has got a syllabus. They are doing along with the syllabus only. And everywhere. Even Rangayana has got a syllabus, Ranga.
There is a general said that actor is born, he cannot be made.
No.
And on what basis these theories going
No.
to support?
Who said that?
Most of my seniors?
No.
In the past itself? Recently?
You know, please don't engage in a debate if you don't mind. You can continue this conversation outside.
Thank you.
Him, okay? But you know, Jai wants to say something. Before that, I'll just say this. Remember, in the performance, in the live performance, the experience is created by work of the body, and the experience dissolves. It's not like cinema or television where you keep the image and exploit it for returns over and over again. It's time bound and space bound. It lives in that time and dies in that time. So every time an actor, a singer, a dancer performs, he creates it or she creates it and it dissolves there. And you carry it as an aesthetic. Actually, it means it's a better society. That is what it brings. We cannot calculate it in terms of quantities and returns in the way you can do it in the replicated, multiplied image.
Maybe this doesn't fully engage with the ideas of acting, but in physical training or physical performances, see the idea of like Prakash was saying, it's a disappearing image and it's a time bound, it's a time-based art. So the aesthetic experience, or what we in the Natyashastra they say rasa, is created by both the audience and the actor together. So the performance, live performance, is a good laboratory for an actor or a performer to understand how this process of rasa creation, the aesthetic creation is happening. And that is on-time check. Immediate, you get an idea whether the audience is receiving the way you intend them to receive. Now, in terms of training, one of the things now which we have to understand, in the Gurukula system, maybe one teacher was teaching a student or a group of students. So the receiving was very personal. But in today's world, maybe what we have to look at is student as the center of learning. It's a student-based education where teacher is only one of the many sources of information and knowledge. So here, the important thing is to have a desire. A desire, not an easy thing. A lot of people confuse wish with desire. Desire is something you will give your life to achieve something. So when you have such a desire, you have a constant updation of knowledge, and you are looking at whether this will be suitable for me to enact or for me to do certain things. So in that sense, the training is to develop the faculty in the performer. The faculty allows you to be able to do multiple things, not just one thing. It's not about learning a form like Bharatanatyam or jazz or ballet, but actually to have a facility in the body to be able to do different things which is asked of you. And that is the training we need. So there we have to understand the principles. How do I develop flexibility? How do I develop musicality? How do I develop an idea of space? How do I develop an idea of lighting? How do I develop partnering? Different training you need to have. And there can be fantastic comprehensive syllabus for this. We have a syllabus, for example, like so many schools have syllabus. And I think this is possible. And we just have to be dedicated and to have a desire.
Somebody from this side will come back to you. Those at the back will come to you.
Give the mic, please, here.
Hello, I am there. Good afternoon. I was just wondering if professionalism, in the sense payment to the artist, is brought to the theatre artist, then can there be a shift? Because most of the actors are now shifting from theatre to television for the want of money. So if theatre can give them bread, butter and cheese.
You know, I want to offer you this, okay? I know there are problems in theater or in dance or in music, but let me tell you, there is no crisis like in the commercial arts of cinema and television. See, look at the bleak answer that Suri gave about TV, for instance. See, in the theater, I just performed a play on Robert Clive. The freedom to do anything you want exists only in the theater. It doesn't exist anywhere else. I will tell you, you have 537 channels in India. I believe 800 more are pending, approval by Prasar Bharati. When I grew up, I could watch Samyukta Panigrahi, Padma Subramanian, Ustad Vilayat Khan Saab on Doordarshan, single channel. I had more variety with that than I have with so many channels here today. I think the crisis is there in the 2D forms. And you really have to worry about this because it's a problem for a society itself. Maybe we should have, yesterday also we mentioned, we must have a public broadcasting system of some nature and a philosophy of inclusion. Otherwise it's really dangerous. Theater can do anything. Dance can do anything. Cinema can hardly do anything. It's become a problem, because when people try, they're banned, they're frowned upon, the industry works against them sometimes. It's just, nobody's allowed to step out of a really claustrophobic space now. And that's a problem actually. I'm sorry, I spoke so much.
I just want to kind of interject. It is the creation of the creative person which is most important. The audiences will always be many. The audience is going to have a different demand, but the aesthetic that we invest in creating the next generation of creative people, I think that is something we all need to wake up and take notice of, and that is not based on money only. It's a larger landscape.
Absolutely, two last questions here and there. We'll ask one question and the other question. Okay, that's it.
You made a very interesting remark when you started the conversation. You said something about the shift in the center of gravity, especially in connection with Bangalore, and the concept of a network of performance centers, which is a very interesting concept actually. So my question is, what is the time frame that we can look at, as for example Bangaloreans or people who are interested in something like this? When is it likely to change? This is the question I think most of the people will probably have.
We can ask the next question also, so we will combine all.
Yeah, good morning all. I'm having a great time here in FICC, and yeah, my point is yesterday, we had a great session regarding journalism, about good journalism and the otherwise journalism. And yesterday we had a session on meaningful cinema and the otherwise cinema. And today we have a session on good plays or the quality of the plays and the quality of performing arts. Don't take me as a cynical person. What my point is here is, we've been having too many sessions, or so much of thought process on the quality of the content, the quality in cinema or journalism or play. Art in itself is not judgmental, because we have a. Yeah, can we be judgmental in art about the art itself? That's my question. Because we have a portrait of politician, for example, we have to show bad politicians or politicians who are corrupt or kind of that. Can we be judgmental about the art itself? Because
I think that's a really quick answer to that, because it's not whether you can be or you can't be, you will be. You will respond to what happens. Okay, that is the problem for it. And we have to always negotiate it. We cannot change that. But I think what you're saying, in my opinion, in the 90s, it seemed, at least for Bangalore city, that things were really going down. And something has happened after the 90s that things are coming back. We have no crisis in theater. You can't get a hall for at least 100 days in Bangalore. It's very difficult to get a weekend for 1 year sometimes, So there's a crisis in writing and the quality of work we're doing, which you're saying. But, it's not a problem. It will sort itself out, I think. But I'm going to let Aru have the last word on it. And
because the space which doesn't require Rangashankara everywhere. We can't make Rangashankara everywhere. When Ninasam started, there was no theatre, there was no stage there. They started performing in front of a tree. So the place where you start your theatre automatically creates a space. Later on, it will start adding to that. That's all.
I think Nagabharana has hit the nail on the head. If I start doing a play over here, this will become a theatre. The street can become a theatre. So it doesn't need Rangashankara. In fact, when we were doing Rangashankara, Prakash was a little against the idea that why are you building a new space? Take any defunct old theatre, movie theatre building and start doing plays. But I think I came from the premise that I did not want governmental intervention. I wanted a space to be born with an identity and not going and occupying spaces. But I'm convinced now that everybody doesn't need to build from scratch. We can definitely ask the government to give us 4 spaces, but who's going to run them?
get out of it.
Yes.
Spaces and get out.
Yes. The beauty of Rangashankara is that we do not have a government officer on our board. Nobody tells us what to do with our programming. It's an extremely democratic process, but not ruled by the government. So we need to also train managers. Like I said, you cannot have a space which doesn't have people who know what to do with the programming. You will have extremely mediocre programming if you don't have trained people. So finally we boil down to the same thing is training and the creation of the creative generation of people. I think we have to nurture the grounds that are going to actually make young talent flower, make it possible. Everybody cannot be a performer, but everybody can be a good audience. And therefore, to train our audiences and keep alive the old Indian aesthetic, allow new aesthetics to arrive, I think that becomes our responsibility.
to have included this subject in a panel, I think was an innovative and a really sensitive decision by the organizers. I really thank, FAKMEBC for this panel. You've been a wonderful audience, and it's my privilege to be among these speakers. Thank you very much.